allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll call to order. Welcome everybody, both here and online. And we're going to start with roll call, and we'll start with Jeannie, and we will go all the way around the room today.
Jeannie Gish,
Lauren Tice-Miller,
Jason Schultz,
Tim Hallisey,
Erica Price,
Rocky Business,
Rosa Cavazos,
Renee Hansen,
Eric Deecher,
Stacy Bell, Kristen O'Brien, Matt Hirsch, Christina Flanning, Stacy Keebler.
All right, thank you everybody for being here. We will move on to the approval of the agenda and also the minutes of the June 21st, 2021 regular meeting and the minutes of the June 30th, 2021 special meeting.
Move approval.
Motion by Jason. Second by Renee. All in favor? 7-0. We will move on to communications, comments, and concerns from patrons. This is an opportunity for district patrons to address either topics directly relevant to the business of the district or items on the current board agenda. All comments must be directed to the president of the board or presiding officer. Individuals will be given 3 minutes to present ideas, opinions, and/or concerns. Do we have anyone that would like to speak today? All right, welcome. Christina Flaming, long A. Okay. Oh, over here on the podium. No, you're good. All right, so you'll have 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
To President Price.
thank you. Okay, that sounds better. Okay, President Price and Board. I am a candidate for Shawnee Heights School Board this year, and I do have some concerns. It has to do like with the budget and with teachers and things like that. The NEA has recently come out with support of critical race theory and about vaccinating all children. And I do have great concerns that as a public school district, we would put those kind of demands on parents and children, and I think that there needs to be very strong consideration if those are appropriate, as many of the people in my civic community groups are planning on homeschooling, pulling their kids from school, etc., cottage classes, online teaching, if critical race theory is taught and if vaccinations are mandated. There's other concerns, but those are some of the top ones, and I know people said they will pull from Shawnee Heights if those are mandated. And I give up the rest of my time. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? All right, we will move on to action items, business by consent. We
Move
have,
approval.
do we need to do the waiver specifically or just go to, or is that just part of our consent agenda? Mr. Halsey?
it is a resolution. We should go over the resolution.
Okay, so we will start with waiver from GAAP.
The gap waiver is the general accepted accounting principles waiver. We do each year. Thank you, Eric, for the reminder. We do that each year. The accounting that we use, while fairly standard, is dictated somewhat by state statute and how we do our accounting to comply with state statute and law. So the gap waiver is a resolution that we approve each year that gives us the flexibility to follow state statute and waive those when appropriate. So we ask that you pass that resolution.
Okay, so we've had the explanation on the waiver from GAAP, GAP, and so we will move to approve all of the items on the consent agenda.
I move approval.
Motion by Renee,
Second.
second by Jason, all in favor? 7-0. All right, we'll move on to organizational issues for 2021-2022.
With our July meeting, we always have several housekeeping things that we need to take care of. Most of the positions that we fill are with existing employees and really don't change from year to year. They are aligned with the position that you have. The ones that we fill, a very quick rundown, are the clerk, deputy clerk treasurer, deputy treasurer, the bonding the district does, regular board meeting dates, backup board meeting dates, expulsion and hearing committees, the DCF representatives, official newspaper, school depositories, federal representatives, hearing officers, CAPERS representatives, food service representatives, school attorney of record, insurance agent of record, auditor of record. Those are typical positions that are filled by employees each year as we move through. There are also a number of positions that we fill that are specifically made up of board members. And we have a number of those that we would ask that we fill tonight that we need to do, such as authorized to administer school activity funds or superintendent's council, public school foundation, safety committee, district leadership team, Title IX representative, negotiation representatives. We have several there, and the descriptions of those also on there. So we would ask that at this time the board identify members who would like to fill those various roles for the upcoming school year.
Okay, we'll start with number 24, Governmental Relations Network, and currently that is Ms. Renee Hansen. Would you like to stay on that currently, or how are you feeling about that?
I can. I will be off the board by the time the February meeting happens, so it might be advisable for someone else to take that.
Okay. Is anyone else interested in that role? Ray, can you describe kind of your commitment to that?
I really didn't do much at all, to tell you the truth.
All right, board members, who wants that
The
one?
thing that I did do when I worked up at the Capitol was I had, I knew the process and I understood in case we needed to. That's really what I did. So I'm fine staying on there until such time that I'm not on the board.
Because we may have to do a reorganizational,
In January.
do it again in January anyway,
Yeah.
so that would be lovely if you could stay on.
I will.
Okay, thank you. Intergovernmental Co-op Council, currently I'm the representative for that. Does anyone want an opportunity to participate in that? Anybody?
I served on it previously, and,
You get breakfast?
it's great.
It's early though,
It's a good
7 a.m.
discussion, so I'd be willing to hear not.
Do you want to do that? Take that role? Okay. So we'll put Eric on intergovernmental, and then I can always be your backup if you can't make it.
Okay.
I mean, really, if anybody can't make it to any of their committee commitments, just reach out, because one of us can surely go in your place. Superintendent's Advisory Council, that is Renee and Rosa.
I really like this one, so
I do
would
too.
love to
I'd
stay
fight
on
you
it.
for that one.
Please don't let me leave this one.
No,
It's my
does
favorite
anyone-
one.
Does anyone else want an opportunity to do that? Everybody's happy with that? You're good? Okay. All right, we'll keep Renee and Rosa on that one as well. District Advisory Council, it says it's currently Rocky, but we've kind of been tag teaming that a little bit, so do you want to? You're kind of stuck there because you're vice president.
I'm happy to do it.
You're in. Public Schools Foundation is currently Rosa and Eric. You guys happy staying on?
I am, I don't mind it at all, so it's a fun group.
Okay, all right. Anybody else? Everybody else? All right, we're good. Safety Committee, currently Lauren. Do you want to stay on that?
Fine with that.
Okay, and same thing, we've done a good job of, if we can't make it, or we have, one of us will be there. District Leadership Team, that's currently me and Jason Scholes as backup, so anybody? I enjoy that one as well. So it's a bigger, a little bit more of a time commitment when that comes around. It's a 3-hour meeting.
I wouldn't mind
Quarterly?
stepping up being the primary.
Do you want to do that? All right, Jason can do that, and I'll be the backup. So we're just going to switch positions there. And then negotiations is currently Renee, Rosa, and I. And I really enjoy negotiations.
I do too.
I do too, and I'd like to finish out until we get done with negotiations for this year.
I agree. If the rest of the board, if that's permissible, I would like to stay on as well to finish out at least this round. So we can do a reorganizational in January if necessary.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That completes that. Also, the board president attends a monthly leadership meeting with the SHEA president, along with the superintendent. And And that goes, I think that has been one of the better things that we've done, keeping up with any issues with SHEA and doing a lot of that prep work and just bonding time before negotiations comes around. Okay, we'll move on to approve Edgenuity site license.
You need a motion to
I need a
approve
motion
those.
to approve.
And I'll make that motion.
Motion by
Second.
Lauren, second by Renee, or Rosa, all in favor? 7-0. I said I wasn't gonna get flustered this time, and here I am. Okay, approve Edgenuity site license.
Edgenuity site license is what we use for a lot of credit recovery. And we've used that for a long time. All the districts locally have done that. That'll be a $23,000 expense for the upcoming year. We recommend that you approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Jason, second by Eric, all in favor?
I have a question.
Sure.
But just
Sorry,
before
I
we,
should second and then ask for questions, that was my fault.
I know we have been using this, but I also know there were some concerns over the past year with it. So I was wondering if we had done any extra checking on any other, I don't know, any other programs. I was just curious.
Rosa, I don't know if they've looked into other programs or not as part of our evaluation of the program here at Shawnee Heights. I've looked at other programs for the specific nature of what we use these programs for. It was the best option that I've used over several years. And we always look at other programs that'll come up and look at, but for the value for our dollars and what we ask the program to do and how we use it, this has always been the best one.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any kind of data that shows the success rate of this particular program?
If we do, Renee, I am unaware of it at this time, although
Okay.
we can look for that and get that to you.
That would be interesting, just to note that, see how much bang we're getting for our buck.
Miss Bell may have something to add.
We use Edgenuity for a couple of different reasons. We've been using Edgenuity in this district for a lot of years, and it has been used for our credit recovery. Edgenuity allows the school district to look at the whole curriculum and find the pieces that we need to match our current curriculum. And so for our credit recovery, we take the pieces that are needed for the kids to finish a course. Maybe they've done half a semester or a semester of a year-long course. We can tailor that to the things that they need. We also can do the full meal deal, which is what we did for some of our students during the remote learning time. So there's a difference in how we're using that. We won't be using the whole big piece of it for this year moving forward because there will be no remote. So we will go back to using it as a differentiated coursework for our students that need it for credit recovery. And they are in a classroom with a teacher that monitors their progress. At any minute, Mr. West can produce a list of how many minutes they've been logged in, how many minutes they're idle, how many courses they've completed, that kind of detail, and the accuracy of all of those. So they monitor that. We have a credit recovery teacher that does that at the high school. And they also use that out at Sharp. So that helps them know that the kids are progressing, and we've been doing that for years.
I have a follow-up question. Is it possible to know how many students used it during the pandemic?
I can ask for a report of that, yes.
Okay.
I believe I can do that.
I'm always curious.
Yeah, so I will see what I can pull for the next board meeting for you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Can I just hear you say one more time that we're not going to have remote again?
We are not.
Because I know there are a
having
lot of
remote.
people still speculating that that's still coming, and I'm certain it's not. So it's really great to hear you say that again. I would love to hear you say it again.
Yeah, so they passed a law that said we cannot offer remote more than 240 hours in a school year. So that would be more of if a kid got really, really sick for 3 weeks, emergency appendicitis, something like that. We could continue their learning in a small capacity. Anything above that would have to have state board approval with special circumstances. So it will not be a general, we're going remote. Even if we were to have a natural disaster, we'd have to have quite a bit of permission to do something even in a temporary basis.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we've had a second. All in favor? 7-0. Thank you for slowing me down there. I appreciate it. Approve contract with Craig Home Care.
This contract is for full-time nursing services. It's a continuation of services for one of our early childhood students that we've had in the past.
Need a motion?
Move for approval.
Motion by Jason, second by Eric. All in favor? 7-0. All right, we're going to move on to discussion items, policy updates.
Twice a year, KASB Legal updates the policies for boards across the state. Those typically happen in December and in late June, early July. We have the latest recommendations that we will ask the board to approve at our next board meeting on the 19th. There are 9 policy revisions and updates to do, and then 2 forms that have been updated. These updates have to do with changes in statute and small minor language changes, and they comply with the law and keep us aligned with policies and state statutes. So we will ask for your approval at the next meeting, and then in the meantime, as questions come up, please let us know. We'll also be reviewing those in a little greater detail to make sure our practices are aligning with those as well. Be glad to answer any questions on that.
Any questions?
Is that the document that she sent us that's 100 pages long? Is that the document that you sent us that's 100 pages long? Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I'll try to review that before the next time.
Just grab a snack, and a comfy spot on your couch, and a cup
It's
of
interesting
coffee.
reading, Renee.
Coffee.
Okay. For those nerds of us.
Can't be
that
much
like to
worse
do
than
that.
certain Air Force tech meetings.
The Cliff Notes version does a nice job of explaining what that is. So,
And we can get that how?
I would be glad to get that to all of you, the 4-page cheat sheet on that, yes.
Seriously, would you push that out?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
It's the first 4 pages of the
Yeah, should be the
document.
first part of that.
No, start at the beginning. Start at the beginning, and then work your way through.
I was scanning down, because I knew what's been lying.
I do it too. I do the same. All right, we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for the warm welcome I received here. It just made me feel right at home, kind of like I'd been on a 9-year vacation. So it's great to be back, and really appreciate everybody's work and for making me and my wife feel welcome out here. I'd also like to put a special thanks in to Matt Hirsch and Scott Dial, even beyond the transition work that we've been doing for the last several months. It says a lot about those gentlemen as individuals and the entire leadership team, how they've worked and responded and stepped up in a time of crisis and challenge to accept those roles. And that doesn't happen in every organization, but it happens in this one. And so I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful that we work for the kind of place that inspires that kind of commitment from their employees. So I really appreciate that, and have just had a wonderful time being back. So thank you for that. It's also a very busy time for the district office. July is a critical time from a business standpoint. Closing out the fiscal year, trying to build the budget. There are some changes this year from a statutory standpoint that will change our timelines a little bit. So Sarah and her team are busy working, closing out the fiscal year. We're waiting on that last aid payment. It may have came this afternoon. It may be tomorrow. So that'll come in. That'll give us a chance to finish that up, roll the books over, and then start to focus on the budget. The timeline for the budget has changed a little bit this year. We have to notify our county clerks by the 20th whether or not we're going to be above the revenue neutral rate of collection. So that was new this year. That'll be some challenges. So we're going to have to look closely at our collections and what our mills will be in your tax funds, like your general fund, supplemental general cap outlay and bond and interest. And so the revenue neutral is almost a given that we will be above that since property valuations have gone up so much. There's almost no way to avoid that. And so, but we also have until late into September before we actually have to have the budget done. So we have some extra time there that we will be working on that and finishing those up. But we have some initial calculations we'll be working on very quickly to coordinate with our county clerk. So it's a busy time, but it's also a lot of fun. A reminder that we will have negotiations meetings with our teachers on Thursday, and we're looking forward to that conversation as well. Be glad to entertain any questions.
All right, we will move on to questions and comments from board members of Board of Education members.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you and I had an email thing back and forth. At some point, I think we might need to look at our substitute teacher compensation and how we carry that out, and if it's comparable to others in our surrounding area, but it appears that it is. And we'll just see kind of maybe how it pans out this year if we get enough substitute teachers. So.
Yeah, Renee and I were having a discussion about that earlier. We are in the middle. We are aligned exactly the same as Auburn, Washburn, and Seaman. We're all in the middle. We're above Silver Lake, not as high as 501. So we are right in the middle. We're all the same on that. So like everybody, right now it's a challenge this last year to bring in people. Everybody struggled with that. How much is compensation a part of that? It's hard to tell. It varies from time to time, and it's just something that we'll have to look at. But you're right, we'll monitor that. We want to stay competitive, and that's just something that we'll have to look at from year to year.
Yeah, and I kind of did the math on it. It's works out if you're working an 8-hour day, it's $12.50 an hour. So, just saying.
Yes, yeah, you do it because you love being around young people.
Right. You love
for the
helping the
compensation.
teachers,
That's
and
right.
you appreciate that they need some time off once in a while. I understand
Yeah,
that.
that is correct.
Anyone else? Okay, we will move on to adjournment. We do not have an executive session. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Jason. Second by Renee, all in favor? 7-0.